Hey, what's up, YouTube? Well, I decided to go back to using my other microphone, the tried and true, um, as opposed to the one I was using last time because I really don't think it successfully projected my voice the way that I was hoping it would. Okay? And since I don't want to have to scream or shout in order to be heard, um, I'd rather just use this one. Okay? So, in this video, I think I want to finally make that video that I've been planning to make titled Girls Have Dolls and Boys Have Cartoons or something like that. Um, and what I'd like to talk about today, as I've stated before in my video, Rugrats was a boys' show. I'd like to talk about how the cartoon world is as male dominated as the doll world is female dominated, so to speak. Now, today I have some show and tell, as you can probably imagine. Just haven't made a doll video in a while, and I know this will probably get some thumbs downs, and I'll probably really slow down my video making because for some reason my videos are just not very well received. Why is anyone's guess, but for some reason, I don't know why, so many of my videos have more thumbs down than up. Um, but today I have some dolls, okay? And the reason I brought these dolls today, I have these Totsie dolls. And what that is, okay, first of all, I want to document that I spent Easter morning, instead of getting ready to go to church, um, I was making this little doll dress. Okay, you see this little Totsie Kelly doll? Um, I actually got her nude in a lot of dolls that I just couldn't resist because of the price. Okay, and she was among a group of dolls that I felt sorry for because she was nude. And so what I did was I conditioned her hair, um, and I made this little dress out of a blouse for a Barbie doll that was pretty ill fitting and old. Okay, but I think it made a cute little Kelly dress. Okay, and what's special about this doll is that she's made by the Totsie company. And before her, I did not have any Totsie girl dolls. Okay, I think her name is Shelly or something. She's like a Kelly clone. One of the many dolls made to look like Kelly for a lower price because she's cheap made. Okay, and I've had these Mikey dolls for a long time. See, this is the blonde version, and this is the brunette Mikey, and my favorite, the redhead Mikey. Okay, so I had all these Totsie Mikey dolls manufactured around 1996, which was when the Rugrats would have been in their heyday. Okay, and I'd never had a little girl. And unfortunately, she's not in as good of a condition and she's not as pretty as the boys are. So that's pretty sad. The boys are cute and she's not that pretty. Okay, so, but she is a girl Totsie doll. And the reason why I don't want to look into getting more Totsie girl dolls, in different colors and all that, is because of the fact that this is the exception, not the rule. Okay, my Totsie dolls are the exception in that I have more boys than girls. Okay, and while it doesn't balance out the disparity, I'm okay with having a male dominated group of Totsie dolls. Um, like I say, I mean, other kinds of dolls, if you can find one boy, you're really lucky. And most of them were boy dolls that I've actually made into boy dolls. But, and this just goes to show you, why I couldn't care less about all grown up. Because, see, the reason I like these dolls so much, see, I'm fascinated by this stage of development, not the characters of Tommy or Chucky or, any of the Rugrats names, okay? It was always an obsession with this stage of development. If these were Barbie-sized dolls, there is less of a chance that I would be so hell-bent on getting them, I mean, I might want the Mattel main dolls, but I wouldn't care so much about having the Totsie version, the Kidcore version, the Lovely Patsy, the Hasbro, and all those other off brands, the knockoffs basically. Um, so yeah, those are the Totsie dolls, and I brought that because, like I say, they're the only like male-dominated group of dolls that I have, and it's for the simple reason that I got the Mikey dolls in a group. It was like a lot of Mikey dolls in different hair colors. And that little girl is the first Totsie girl doll I've ever gotten because, like I say, I have so many other little Kelly clones, so to speak, like the Lovely Patsies, that I didn't really feel the need to have a Totsie type girl because I had other types of girls, and she's actually in pretty sad shape. And you have to be careful with these dolls because, like I say, they're not as well made as the Mattel version of Kelly and Tommy. So yeah, the reason I brought that is, well, I mean, obviously I can't allow comments because now they're really gonna say I'm weird and all that crap. Um, but I just want to say that, like, dolls in general, usually it's the other way around. Like, you would have one boy doll and then a whole bunch of different kinds of girl dolls. And what I want to say is that, like, dolls are, female dominated, like, they're mainly for girls. In the same way that cartoons are aimed primarily at boys, cartoons in general. And really, Rugrats was one of the least male dominated, though it was still male dominated for the simple reason that a cartoon almost has to appeal to boys or it will do poorly. You know what I'm saying? When something is a girl's cartoon, it doesn't do well for the simple reason that girls are just not as into cartoons as boys are. Just like, well, boys aren't near as into dolls as girls are. Really, they're not even supposed to be whatsoever. Um, but, cartoons in general, they just appeal to the male gender disproportionately and for a much higher percentage of the lifespan. Okay? And I've already talked about, how they mature later than girls, both mentally and physically. And also the fact that, as I've stated before, we can't be wearing graphic t shirts and have them look right on us. We have certain body parts, like I said, that make a graphic t shirt look horrible. And I would never wear a t shirt like that with any character, let alone Rugrats. Um, and so basically, I just want to talk about that how, girls have dolls growing up. We have something so much better than a cartoon character, and it's a doll. I think dolls are 1,000 times better than cartoon characters. I mean, just look at that. Even an ugly doll like this has beautiful purple eyes, and features that a lot of cartoons just don't have unless they're Disney. And that's why, the cartoons that do appeal to girls tend to be the Disney classic movies about a princess. The Disney princess movies, basically. Because, like, when I look back on my own childhood, the only cartoons like that I really, other than Mickey Mouse, I just like Mickey Mouse as a character, not so much as a cartoon that I watched on TV. Like, I had a stuffed Mickey that I just loved to death. And I just love the character. See, that's exactly how it is with Rugrats and me. It's not so much that, well, to an extent, I mean, I did watch all the episodes and movies, but the reason I remained obsessed with it was because I had a doll of Angelica. It all has to tie into some sort of a doll. It's like if it can't be made into a doll, the girls are going to have no interest in it whatsoever. Okay? That's why I couldn't care less about Doug or Rocket Power and pretty much everything else on Nickelodeon. So yeah, it's like, girls and their dolls, and to a lesser extent books. Girls are much more into reading in school for the simple reason, well, part of it is because they're not into cartoons and TV and playing sports and all that. They're not as much into action, so sitting down with a book is not as much of an inconvenience for a girl. Okay, so I just wanted to say that dolls are what girls have growing up, and cartoons, therefore, are more of a boy's interest. It's almost like by the time a girl is old enough to really want to watch TV, she's already into more live action stuff, sitcoms and whatever her mom is watching. Um, so yeah, it's like, it just, I don't know. We're just not as much into cartoons in general. Um, and as a result, the people that remain interested in cartoons into their adult life and want to go into the animation process and voice acting and things like that, they tend to be men. So, people often wonder, why are cartoon animals mostly male? Like, look at SpongeBob. The vast majority of the characters are male, and it's even more male dominated on older cartoons. And the reason is, like I stated before, because the voice acting world is male dominated. And that's why when they make a cartoon about children, it is rarely about children under age 10, because they want them to be old enough to have male voice actors. So yeah, it's like, the cartoon world is male dominated, and, girls want things that are just so much more beautiful, especially the eyes. We want to see beautiful eyes, not circles with black dots, like in the cartoon world, which makes it a lot easier to draw a bunch of pictures, that they need in order to animate something. With when you have fewer details, whatever you leave out as far as details makes it that much easier to draw a high quantity of pictures as opposed to quality. You know what I'm saying? It takes forever to make a Disney masterpiece, so to speak, like The Little Mermaid. Like when I look back on my childhood, the only cartoon, that I really got into, I'd say that I was really obsessed with, was The Little Mermaid at age 7. That was my obsession throughout my first grade year. And it's beautiful compared to most Saturday morning cartoons. Um, and to a lesser extent, I got into Rainbow Bright. That was pretty much the only 80s cartoon I really cared about. Um, wasn't really into My Little Pony, and I wish I'd known about the Moon Dreamers. But I just wasn't into most Saturday morning cartoons. I couldn't care less about the Smurfs. Just couldn't care less about all these action cartoons like He-Man and all that stuff. And it's true for most girls. We just were not that much into animation, and that's why, as an adult woman, I would be totally embarrassed to wear something with a cartoon of any kind, let alone Rugrats, the ABDL fetishizer's dream. Um, Come on, like, even if you could convince me, as I've stated before, like, that the three older Rugrat kids, Chucky, Angelica, and Susie, were potty trained and would never have crapped their pants, that does not make me want to wear the show on my clothing. Because, I mean, think about it. Does Bart and Lisa Simpson and their parents being potty trained make me want a Simpson shirt? Absolutely not. Do I want a Bob's Burgers shirt? No way. Do I want Loud House? Even though the only character in a diaper is Lily? Absolutely not. Okay? So, um, I'm not into cartoons, neither are most females, because it is a male dominated type genre, so to speak. Girls are into live action, if anything at all. I mean, the truth is that, we really shouldn't watch TV, because I feel like TV in general, or the media in general, has less to offer women. We just have way too much to do in a day's time to really sit around and watch TV. That's just something that pretty much is created by and for males, once they get off work or school or whatnot. And we don't really need it. So yeah, I'm finding it hard to figure out, how to deal with the Rugrats reboot. Um, and I'm not exactly sure. I want to ask my dad if he has Paramount Plus or will get Paramount Plus. But I have a feeling that if they make it very obvious that Betty is a dyke, that both of my parents will be vehemently opposed to me watching the show. Okay, not just I don't think it's a good show, but it is a horrible show. Okay, because my dad is already like upset about, he says the Democrats or the liberals have basically ruined baseball. Something about some game that was going to be in Georgia was in Colorado instead. I don't really know. It's something political, and I don't really want to get into it. But basically, my parents are far right, and they don't support things with a liberal leftist agenda. So I really don't know about the reboot, but I know that I and most females are not really into cartoons.